Hey everybody, thanks for checking back in with me. I got something really cool today. Thanks to the kind folks at FOBO for allowing me to test out one of their latest products. This is a real-time tire pressure monitor system. Okay, so you get two sensors. And by the way, you can put this on a regular motorcycle or even a trike. You know, you can have up to 18 of these sensors apparently using one app. All right, so those are pretty cool. This company is from Malaysia, and they were kind enough to send me these to check them out. So I'm really honored and grateful. Thank you, FOBO, for doing this. And let's see what's in this box. Of course, you got your two sensors. This is actually a keychain. I was like, what in the world is this? It took me a while to figure out, but it's actually a keychain where you can attach your wrenches. These are lockdown bolts, I guess you could call them. And these are, took me a while to figure this out. I thought these were battery charger case, but no, these are actually plastic wrenches. And they give you two metal valve stems. These look really nice, but I'm not going to worry about taking my current valve stems off, but I'm going to definitely keep those. And I think if I ever get a new tire, I'll get somebody to put those on. But yeah, these are your lockdown washers. Anyway, these are the two sensors. They come with the battery, and you just got to release that white protective field, whatever you call that, and that'll let the contact make contact with the battery and the actual sensor itself. So that's what those are. Not too bad looking, and they're not really large. I've seen some other TPMS systems that are really large and heavy. These only weigh, by the way, 1/4 of an ounce. And here's the battery. It's not a CR2032. It's a little smaller than that. I'll leave the specs below. But they come with two of them, obviously, and you don't have to worry about, they say they'll last for a good year, so that's pretty good. And there is your QR code for the user manual that you can download. Now, these valve stems are extra. They're really good. And like I said, I'm going to keep these because I think I might use them when I do change my tires out one day. So thanks for sending those. That's really neat. I don't know why they send them, but that's a good bonus if you want to change them out. Again, these are the lockdown washers, they call them. And I'll show how those go on when we get to the bike, but you basically screw this on your valve stem first, and then you put your sensor on top of that, and then you lock it down. You kind of tighten it counterclockwise on the bottom of the sensor. And again, here's the keychain. So if you want to carry the wrenches, the black wrench on your keychain, you can do that. I guess that's pretty handy if you ever want to do that, but I probably won't. Anyway, we'll get back to that. There's the actual the wrench where you can remove the lock washers because it fits in here. It's like a proprietary size. See that? So that's why they give that to you. So somehow you lock those down. So here's your app. You download the app from the App Store. And this is where you can choose the type of bike you have, motorbike. You can give it a profile name. My bike's called Raven. I think I told you that before. Now here's your tire pressure adjustments. You can basically say, hey, my recommended is 33 for my back. Which one is this? This is the rear. So my rear is 33 PSI recommended. So you set the middle one to the recommended adjustment, which is going to be 33. All right. And then you have a minimum and maximum threshold. So you can put maybe 10 PSI less. You know, you can adjust these down to 0 if you want. But I'm just kind of messing around with this app at that point. I didn't really know what I wanted. So I think I had it at 20 for the minimum PSI, 33 for the recommended, and 40 PSI for the max. And so you can adjust both your front and rear tire with the various thresholds. Okay. Now my front tire only takes 29 PSI recommended, because more of the weight's on your rear tire. That's why it's usually a little higher sometimes. So, you know, I fill out the minimum and maximum. And sorry if it's blurry. It's very hard to see with these GoPro cameras up close. They're not meant for that, so I apologize. But anyway, once you get your minimum recommended maximum set, you can adjust these later too. You don't have to lock them in. And you're also going to get an alert for zero pressure, okay? And that alert will come on your phone because you sync your phone with the app and the sensors, and we'll cover that a little bit later. So once I got the tire pressure stuff figured out, it's really not that bad. You hit next, and then you can put in your make, which is, in my case, a Honda, right? It's just header information. This stuff really doesn't come into play with the working order of anything. This is just like kind of more user convenience type thing. So I got the ADV 150, of course, and my model year for my Honda is a 2021. So you can put all this stuff in there and fill that out. You can even add a custom picture to it if you want, which I did, and later I did. Now these mean not installed. Okay, that's what NINST means, not installed yet. So you have to install, or I guess you could say not install, but attach Bluetooth to the sensors. You have to remove the cover in order to release the battery. This is like a little white piece on the inside too. So you have to remove this valve cover, sensor cover, and then that just pulls right out. And once that pulls out, now your battery is making contact with the sensor. So they do that so you don't waste battery when they're shipping these things. So you got to make sure that you take that off. There was some little white piece of sticker on here. I'm not sure what that was. I'm like, what is this? I'm just going to take it off. It looks like a QR code or something. I'm not sure, but I just got rid of that. Not going to harm anything. And then you basically secure the cover over top of that. And then you're done. Now the battery is making contact with the sensor. So it's basically, in a sense, connected. Okay? And again, and they're not too bad looking. These look pretty sharp. But I tried to pull this out without removing the cover, and you can't do that. You know why? Because the other side is a round circle too. It's the same size. So you have to take this cover off, all right, to remove the thing that blocks the contact. See, that's the little wafer battery. Again, I'll have the exact CR model for the battery underneath the description once I find it. I read it somewhere, but I can't remember where it was. Now, these are two more contacts that you really don't need to take off. The little stickers, so I just leave them on there. And that's about it for the sensors. Now the sensors are ready to roll. No pun intended. My tire pressure was really low, guys, on both tires. And I'm glad I checked this, because when I rode last, I didn't check. That's my bad. But I had to fill my tires, both of them. And this is my front tire. And it was really low, but my back tire was even lower. My goodness. And I'm like, I should have checked that before I started riding, because remember when I broke my ankle, look, 16 PSI was in my back tire. But that's what it looks like when they're installed. And then basically you install the sensor with the app, okay? So it scans for the sensor once you press the not installed. And then when it finds the sensor, it pairs it, if that makes sense. So you got to hold your phone pretty close to the sensor. It's not too bad. It just takes time. And if it doesn't work the first time, it has directions on how to redo it again. I actually had to do it twice for the front tire. So now see, it read my back tire, 31.6. It's going to be a little different than the actual tire pressure gauge is going to tell you, but it's close enough. It's not going to be an exact science. But it tells you the pressure and the actual temperature of your bike tires, which is pretty slick. See? 28 and 34. So there you go. Not too bad. And you can just let this app on when you're riding, and then basically it'll give you an alert if something happens with one of your tires. And I think that's pretty slick. I'm going to definitely use this all the time. 28 and 31, close enough, right? Can't complain about that. Now you can have your fine tuning of the app where you put it in PSI, whatever country you're from. Comes in many different countries, this app made for different countries, and mine's PSI and Fahrenheit. So I also changed the theme to blue because I think that's a little more cooling looking. And you got your alarm tones where you can basically put what kind of tone you want. So let's see what that looks like. Yeah, I like the space one because I think I would hear that better if I'm riding my bike, the higher pitch tone, but you can adjust that. And there's some other sensors down here, or toggle things you can turn on and off. I like the dark mode on any app. It's just less glare. And some of these other things, you can basically turn on or off. It's really not that important. There is a group ride feature where you have basically up to, I'm not sure how many bikes you can do, but heck, you can have 19 different sensors on a bike. So I guess that's for group riding where you can, if your spouse or somebody's riding, you can actually monitor your spouse's tires, which is pretty slick. You have other settings here that you can turn on, but I don't know. You can just play around with those. I'm not going to cover every single one of them. The crash report is not if your bike crashes, it's for the app crash, okay? So make sure you understand that. But there you go.
Okay, so I wanted to do a little road test with this. I got 28.7 for the front tire, 30.5 for the rear. So I wanted to see, and the temperature on these are both about the same, 82.4. It'll give me alert, and if I have my Bluetooth on, I can hear it through my Bluetooth. It's really handy, especially if you're riding long distances and stuff. 27.8 and 31.3. Oh, my back tire went up about 4 degrees. So yeah, all in all, it's a really slick product. Those tire pressure monitors on the valve stems, since they're only weighing like 1/4 of an ounce, they're not real heavy at all. So I don't feel like I'm gonna ever run into an issue where they could harm my valve stem. They did include 2 metal valve stems. So the next time I get my tires changed out, I'm gonna keep those valve stems, and I am going to definitely have somebody install those. You don't know about these things until you have them, and then the more I talk about them, I'm like, you know what, that's actually a really good solution. Like I said, if I talk about them and I use them on my own bike, then I know they're good, because I wouldn't put something on my bike that's not good, you know, and talk about it. I have a little integrity. I don't want to just have people put junk on their bikes, you know. Front tire 28.7, rear tire 32.3. Now my rear tire is 91 degrees and my front is still only 84.
So real quick, guys, if you want to take advantage of a 15% off discount, there's a voucher below which runs from August 4th to the 11th, I believe. So take advantage of that. Time is limited on it. It's a great product. I'm going to use it all the time. So thanks again for checking it out.
Tire pressure, and then the heat is 102.2 Fahrenheit on the rear. My front tire is still 84.2 degrees Fahrenheit, which is interesting. And the tire pressure is 80 or 28.7. So that's not really going up too much, but the back is definitely changing. I can see it. So anyway, guys, if you have any questions about these tire pressure monitors, let me know. Thanks again to FOBO 2 for allowing me to demonstrate these. We're at 33.2 on the rear, 28.7 on the front, which is pretty close to normal. 102.3 Fahrenheit on the rear, because that's where, you know, like I said, more of your weight is for the rider is in the rear, so it's going to get a little warmer. The front one's staying cooler because of the air and stuff, so it's not really changing. It's still only 84 degrees. So hopefully that was helpful, guys. I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, okay?